Hi, I'm Michty Maxx and I'm here to share this makeup look using the Sugarpill Penelope pigment, which I've been obsessed with lately. I just had to stick it next to my new Cry Baby pencil from Colourpop and this Lime Crime Electric Lavender lipstick. I started with the MAC Paint Pot in Painterly and applied it with the Real Techniques Deluxe Crease brush, patting it in with my finger and applying some to my lower lid as well. Now I have the Sigma E25 blending brush and I'm grabbing the deep and medium shades of the Inglot number 111R eyeshadow to apply as a transition shade through the crease. Then I used the E32 Buff and Blend brush to pick up the lightest peach shadow and apply to my brow bone as a highlight. I whipped out my Sedona Lace 88 matte palette and chose this warm peachy brown shadow with the E25 blending brush to build on the socket color, and I smoothed that out with the Inglot number 11R shadow and added more light peach to soften everything up to the brow bone. Back to the 88 matte palette, and I chose this orangey brown shade and applied it lower down in my crease with the Sigma E44 Firm Blender brush to intensify the warm peach crease. I'm making sure you can see all the previous colors above this eyeshadow for a gentle gradient into the skin tone. Keeping with the warm theme, I reached for the Inglot number 464 DS Terracotta eyeshadow with the same firm blender brush and applied that to the deep crease, focusing on the outer edge and softening that into the inner half of the crease with the peach Inglot eyeshadow and blending all those shadows together through the socket. I took a bit of that terracotta eyeshadow into the outer edge of my eye as well. I busted out the Makeup Forever Flash palette and mixed the gold and coral creams together on the back of my hand and applied the concoction to my remaining eyelid space. And here we have the star of the show, Sugarpill Penelope, with its crumbly, crunchy copper goodness. And I added a drop of Illamasqua sealing gel to the cap and mixed a paste of the Sugarpill Penelope pigment, which I applied with the Sigma E57 shader brush all over the cream base on my mobile eyelid. I went back over the top with some dry pigment on the other side of the brush to really solidify the saturation of sparkle. I have the Insidious NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Cottage Cheese, and I'm applying it to my tear duct area as a base for the Makeup Geek In the Spotlight foiled eyeshadow, which I'm finally going to use and have work in a look. I took the Sigma E30 pencil brush to highlight my tear duct and blended that slightly onto the lid. I'm jumping into the original Naked palette and grabbing the eyeshadow smog to pat onto the outer corner of my eye, and also used Dark Horse to layer over the top with the Firm Blender brush. I blended that into the crease with the Inglot Terracotta eyeshadow to keep the warmth in there. I took a touch of Inglot number 405 Pearl to merge the copper lid into the outer corner and add some deeper shimmer there. Now I'm very excited to use this Colourpop Cream Gel Liner in Cry Baby for the first time, and I'm applying it heavily into the waterline. It's nice and creamy and goes on comfortably with decent pigmentation and lasts okay, but not awesomely. I took another Colourpop pencil in Brouhaha and lined the dark brown along the outer half of my lower lash line, really close to the lashes, and I buffed it out with a cotton bud. I grabbed the Urban Decay 24/7 eye pencil in Honey to run along the inner half of my lash line and blended it out as well. I took the Penelope Copper pigment over 2/3 of my inner lash line with the tip of the firm shader brush, this time using the pigment dry. And I merged the shimmery tear duct highlight into the copper with more in the spotlight. I took some more of that Inglot Peach mixture and buffed out the outer edge under there with the blending brush, and I grabbed a combination of those warm matte shades from the Sedona Lace palette and ran the Firm Blender brush along to warm up the lower lash line deal, joining it up to the upper crease. I quickly strengthened the copper by using it wet and made sure it faded down nicely and also into the tear duct. I grabbed a mix of Dark Horse and Smog from the Naked palette to add some depth into the outer corner and brought that along into the upper lid. I faded out the lower lid with the light peach brow bone highlight shade and the Buff and Blend brush. I touched up the darkness at the outer corners with that Naked mix on the pointed Firm Blender brush. I went about curling my eyelash as well since I'm going au natural for this look. Then I tight-lined with the Colourpop Brouhaha Cream Gel Liner to thicken up the base of my lashes. I applied plenty of coats of CoverGirl Clump Crusher mascara and applied my MAC Giga Black Lash Mascara to my bottom lashes. I quickly filled in my eyebrows using the Revlon Color Stay Brow Liner in Blonde and set the hairs with Benefit Gimme Brow. I wanted more definition on the outer lash line, so I applied a little bit of the Brouhaha pencil and buffed it out slightly. I applied some Benefit Professional Primer to the center of my face where I have larger pores, and I applied my Bourjois foundation, also adding some MAC Fix Plus to keep the base thin for a light look. I applied MAC Pro Longwear Concealer I set under my eyes and the center of my face with the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Diffused Light. I blended my eyeshadows into my face makeup with the Inglot No. 111R shadows for a seamless fade. I primed my lips with MAC Prep and Prime Lip Base. I have this new Colourpop Super Shock Cheek Pearlized Highlight called Hippo, so I'm using my finger to apply it to my Cupid's bow and diffusing that out with the Zoeva 129 Luxe Fan brush. Then I lightly lined my lips with the NYX Slim Lip Liner pencil in Purple Rain just to give a guide for the Lime Crime Velveteen in Rave, which is an electric lavender that works to contrast with the copper eyeshadow brilliantly. I stuck with the purple theme and went back in with the Colourpop Hippo highlighter and attempting to use the Zoeva fan brush, using my fingers to apply it to the tops of my cheekbones, but then I finally smoothed it out with my Hakuhodo S113 highlight brush. I blended the edges of the highlight out with the diffused light powder that I used to set the rest of my face, and I took the Violent highlight up around my temples as well. I applied a second layer of the liquid lipstick for opacity after the lips were dry. For the cheeks, I pulled out Benefit Throb Blush and applied it with the Real Techniques blush brush along my cheekbones and up to my temples as a base layer for this new product, Colourpop Super Shock Cheek Matte Blush in Rain, and I used the same synthetic brush to layer up the product until I liked the intensity. I added on some extra Hippo highlighter to blend over the edge of the blush to increase the shine and make it more prominent. I jazzed up my beauty spot and added some highlights to my nose with my finger. I finished the skin with a healthy spray of MAC Fix Plus to settle those powders down, and I fan dried my face while whipping out my hair. I juiced up the lips with some In the Spotlight foiled eyeshadow, applying it fingerstyle and blending it out with the pencil brush. And that gives a delicious shimmery peach highlight to the lips, which looks lovely, but my lips were rather dry, so I added the Sigma Lip Switch Lip Gloss in Pink Lotus over the top, dabbing it on with my finger to give this juicy look. I really like how this looked, however the matte liquid lipstick was being nasty to my very chapped lips, so I went for a creamier option. I lightly defined my lips with the Makeup Forever Aqua Lip Liner in 8C and blended the edge with my finger to soften it. Then I applied the Revlon Color Burst Lip Butter in Tutti Frutti to my lips. And for a soft gradient effect, I picked up another lip butter in Creamsicle and used my finger to apply it to the center of the lips, pressing my lips together and adding a bit more Tutti Frutti to the edges. I still wanted that shimmery center, so I added some of the In the Spotlight shadow with my little finger. The lip butters are so creamy that they mixed weirdly with the eyeshadow when I pressed my lips together, so I suggested just dabbing it on. I blended the edges with a little more Tutti Frutti lipstick, and that's another more subtle option for this makeup. I definitely would have rather worn the bright violet version, but my dry lips were having none of it. But for once you see a more neutral makeup look on me, so at least there's that. I was totally hanging out to put the Colourpop Violet pencil next to the copper pigment and contrast it further with the lilac neon lipstick and purple cheeks. And now I can stop thinking about it obsessively. This is a soft and neutral look for me, but still has some fun color to it and complementary colors playing off each other. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this neutral but exciting makeup tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Also check out my band and podcast on iTunes.